Yeah, I suggested the juniors do it for fundraising. Yeah. They gonna go with that?
Last year, yes. Last live, you sort of see so.
They have foliage, and it was.
I'm gonna ask you for this.
And all these little boys are just. Yeah, so I was like. The children.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to watch. My sister said it's really good. Yeah.
Okay. Call the February 19th City Council meeting to order. Call the roll.
Bobby Hanson,
Here.
Don Hawkins,
Here.
Megan McFarland, Matt McKinnon, Logan Welch.
Here.
Call for motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag.
One under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Item 1, petitions, communications and requests. This is the time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda. Except in case of emergency, the city council will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask the city staff to research the matter or have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. Do we have anybody who has anything for us? Okay. So item 2 is minutes, claims, reports and licenses. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council on a single motion. If the council member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, or we consider it on its normal sequence on the agenda. I have item A as minutes of February 5th. B is a resolution on payroll for period ending February 10th and paid on February 16. C is a resolution on bills and approve the fund list. D is a city manager reports for January. E is the police department activity report for January, citations by approach for January. And F is the fire department report for January. And G is the Hamilton County Solid Waste Commission meeting agenda for February 14.
Move to approve collectively.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
General agenda. Item A is report from Anna Woodward of Chamber of Commerce. Evening, Anna.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for allowing me to speak to you tonight and offer a 2023 year-end review for the Webster City Area Chamber of Commerce. Tonight, I'll be focusing on the chamber highlights, tourism initiatives, our events, and our volunteer impact. We are happy to host over 10 ribbon cuttings in 2023, including the Hamilton County Fair expansion project and the multi-million-dollar expansion at People's Credit Union as well. And we also help commemorate milestones for many small business owners, including the much anticipated reopening of 2nd Street Emporium in downtown Webster City. We also have a strong communications program at the Webster City Chamber of Commerce. In 2022, we launched a brand new website, and in 2023, our online member directory was attracting over 10,000 unique visitors annually. We also distribute our regional destination guide in partnership with Hamilton County Development and the City of Webster City. This goes to over 22 visitors and welcome centers across the state of Iowa, along with surrounding metropolitan areas and Minneapolis, Twin Cities, Omaha, and Kansas City area. Our office also manages the community calendar and the local help wanted postings. In 2023, we had over 1,000 member events posted on our community calendar, and our local help wanted is our 6th most visited webpage on our website as well. Twice a week, we distribute the electronic community newsletter. This is open to any community member that would like to receive it. It's blasted to 600 subscribers. This is a communication strategy that is above and beyond what would typically be offered from an office our size. Yes. Some of the initial benefits with the chamber membership start off with making that initial splash in the community, helping to build brand awareness, and making business announcements via chamber social media channels, and also through local press and ribbon cutting ceremonies. As our members move through the lifespan of their business and the spectrum of membership, we see this turn into more of a reciprocal relationship, building into collaborative partnerships and helping to build camaraderie and a collective business voice in the Webster City area. Yes. In 2022, when we surveyed our members on what they would like to see and what skills building programs they are in need of, digital marketing and social media skills trended very high. So in 2023, we leaned right into that and offered a variety of digital marketing programs using many local providers. That included drone photography and videography classes with OHP Marketing Services at the Webster Theater. We also partnered with On Media to offer the alphabet soup of digital marketing. This was a first of its kind program offered by On Media in the Webster City location that went on to be rolled out statewide and nationally as well. Through our downtown assessment, we partnered with the state of Iowa's Grow with Google Coach to offer Reach Your Customers online. This was a no-cost Google My Business training program offered to the residents and members of the Webster City Area Chamber. And then we brought our business after hours back with a presentation by Spin Marketing at Wildcat Distilling Co., where a group of us learned about artificial intelligence and how to streamline our business activities on a daily basis. In addition to our in-person programs, we are also offering webinars and resources that are shared weekly through our online platforms and our electronic newsletter. We've partnered with each one of these entities or help amplify their messages by offering self-guided resources through our digital communications or partnering directly with specific events and programs. The Webster City Area Chamber of Commerce Board is proud to award over $4,000 through our Chamber Design Grant in 2023. The design grant assists businesses with exterior upgrades and exterior signage. It helps increase visibility and brand awareness for our small business and also incentivizes building maintenance and supports higher property values. 2 years ago, this program only offered $2,400 annually, and the board has worked hard to be able to expand on the monetary amount awarded every year after. When our board president, Mark Ferguson of Carl Webster City, took his seat in early 2023, one of the initiatives that he was first to stand behind was reviving our Chamber Ambassador Program. Our Ambassador Program are highly visible, prestigious volunteers that serve as a primary liaison to our Chamber members. They support the Chamber office by being considered informed representatives that help with our member retention and volunteerism efforts. At the end of 2023, we had elevated 3 of our original 12 members to be official Chamber board members, either through a vacancy or election. 2023 was a milestone year for the Webster City Area Chamber office. We partnered with the City of Webster City and SMID District to offer our downtown assessment. This brought in state downtown professionals to Webster City that met with over 100 community members to learn more about downtown Webster City and what our community wanted it to be. Simultaneously, we also worked on rolling out industry-grade software that added member value by offering each and every one of our members an online digital presence through a member landing page. This also offers a resource library chock full of information and digital media for any of our members to view. It also allows our members to post directly to our Help Wanted and our community calendar as well. We also outsource bookkeeping in an effort to keep our local office talent focused on the things that they do best. That also puts a certified accountant's eyes on each and every financial transaction that goes through the chamber office as well. Our destination guide transformation of the partnership with Webster City and Hamilton County Development. We were able to source higher quality local images and build out our digital asset library to make sure that we were featuring the best of our local amenities. We also saw exponential growth in Webster City Market Nights, which I will cover again here shortly. And we also focused on the training and development of our new talent. We are happy to bring on Robin and Julie to the chamber office, which keeps the daily activities of the office going, consistent office hours at our 2nd Street location, and also do a lot of the heavy lifting for our event planning as well. The Iowa Association Chamber of Commerce also invested in the professional development for Webster City staff by offering Webster City staff a scholarship to attend their annual conference. And of course, as I touched on, the Chamber Ambassador Program helped build that pipeline of board development and volunteerism for the Webster City Area Chamber as well. We also focused on building capital improvement projects, including the development of the Webster City Area Community Foundation, which I'll speak more about shortly. The Webster City Area Chamber of Commerce really fulfills that function of the local Convention and Visitors Bureau office. In addition to the regional destination guide that we help produce, we also have worked with local photographies to do more styled photo shootings to capture the essence and the lifestyle and highlight the Webster City amenities with professional photography. Our staff has attended tourism insider trainings, the Iowa Tourism Conference, and also Central Iowa tourism events to build relationships with the state tourism officials. We've also worked in partnership with Hamilton County Development and the City of Webster City to bring tourism-related conferences and meetings to the Webster City area. And in partnership with Hamilton County Development, expect to have a big announcement coming soon regarding tourism-related meetings and conferences right here in Webster City. Collaboration is really at the core of what we do at the Chamber. There really are not any programs or events that we're able to do single-handedly. We rely heavily on our members' involvement and participation. One of our probably most favorite events of 2023 was our foam party in downtown Webster City, sponsored by Kendall Young Library. We're very excited to be able to offer 2 of these parties coming in 2024, one sponsored by Kendall Young Library and one due to the generous donations of some of those right here in this room. We've also worked for,
Do you want me to go back? Sorry.
that's okay. We've also worked with Carl Webster City to offer classic car nights, which we do see have a regional pull every 3rd Thursday in June, July, and August. Our Fill the Bus event was a first of its kind event for the Chamber, where we were able to donate a box of school supplies to each and every one of the school buildings to be used for teachers' classrooms or students in need. We also want to thank the Webster City Church of Christ for diligently bringing down the yard games and family activities weekly to add to Webster City Market Nights amenities. Also, I'd like to highlight the collaborative effort between our SMID district, our retailers, both on Superior Street and downtown Webster City, and their partnership with Trinity Lutheran Church to focus on community decor and placemaking efforts ahead of our annual Ladies Night Out event, our largest retail event of the year. And to thank you to the realtors, the bankers, and the assisted living centers and care centers that help us with bag stuffing, brochure folding, and also counting and bundling our Ladies Night Out slips and whatever tasks that we throw at them with short notice too. So I'll highlight Webster City Market Night specifically in my next slide. This is our longest running event each week in the summer months, June, July, and August on Thursday evenings, sponsored by American Sanitation. We officially became Stanhope State alum with the release of Stanhope State University's graphic design on Thursday nights be market night. This was the first of their Webster City line, including the vintage inspired Hospital Hill screen print as well. It is one of probably the Webster City's most favorite events. It's a story of a defunct farmers market that the chamber inherited that now turned into being awarded the 2023 Daily Freeman Journal's Reader's Choice Best Community Festival. It's also a very productive event for Webster City as well. Nearly 90% of the attendees reported spending at least $20 during the events. When you calculate our nightly attendance being from 500 to 1,000 on a weekly basis, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars kept circulating in the Webster City area. 58% of the attendees reported dining at local brick and mortar restaurants during one or more of the nightly events. And it was a cumulative effort of 72 participating businesses, nonprofits, and outreach programs. We have even more exciting events looking into 2024, including the Murray Fest Midwest. This is a premier poultry and homesteading event organized by the Murray McMurray Hatchery. We expect this to bring thousands of visitors to Webster City and also have a national reach, including guests, Grammy Award-winning Rory Feek, and also internationally known British gardener Charles Dowdy, that the hatchery has been able to work with, partly due to a $10,000 Iowa tourism grant. So we would encourage all of our local residents to help us show some hospitality in preparation for this event, June 29th and June 30th. And also encourage them to volunteer via Murray Fest Midwest website as well. On top of that, we have some exciting partnerships as well that help us build upon the momentum of Webster City Market Nights. We'll be working with the Carl Webster City Hamilton County Speedway to have Thursday Night Thunders immediately following Webster City Market Nights. There'll be discounted race tickets available for sale downtown during market nights and to be used at the races immediately following. This will give the Webster City area an advantage by being one of the only local racetracks that'll be offering weeknight races. It'll be also help us encourage visitors to start the weekend early and explore the other amenities in the Webster City area, including Briggs Woods Park, Kendall Young Library, and all of our restaurants and retailers. As I mentioned, we have launched the Webster City Community Foundation. This is a sister organization to the Webster City Area Chamber of Commerce. It's a 501c3 nonprofit meant to support the efforts of the Chamber office that offers tax-deductible donations. In response to the housing crisis that many of our members are experiencing that's rippling over to workforce retention and attraction, we look forward to using our building to its fullest potential by creating 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom housing units in our upper story. We officially launched this project at our New Year's Eve gala last year, and we're able to use the proceeds from our 50-50 raffle and the generous donations to start. Schultfield Engineering also offered us in-kind services with the 3D layouts, so we have visual representation as well. And building off of our downtown assessment that we completed last year, the Chamber has been part of the Main Street Revitalization Alliance. This is a group that is comprised of SMID, LIFT, HERO, Chamber ambassadors, and Chamber board members. The focus is on downtown investment matters, and they've identified 4 clear priorities they would like to move forward with. I hope that either I or a member of the Alliance will have more concrete information for you coming shortly. I'd like to also emphasize the impact that the Chamber office and our members are making in the Webster City area. Just our events alone clocked 572 volunteer hours. If we wanted to quantify that and put that in monetary terms, that's over 16,000 contributed to the local area. And finally, I'd like to recognize the Webster City Area Chamber of Commerce Board. These are our frontline group of advocates, askers, and ambassadors that are working to make Webster City a better place for all of our members and communities. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Awesome work, setting stuff.
I'm excited.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
I have B is a resolution approving the police department work agreement for the 2024-27 and approving the execution of the same by the city manager.
Beth is here to present this item and she's making her way to the podium.
Are you part of the choir in the back corner there?
Good evening. Before you is the work agreement for the police department union. This was discussed a while ago with council and we went through negotiations, and before you is the end result of the TA with the group. So I'll go down and hit the highlights. It's a 3-year agreement. There's a change to the comp time that can be accrued to 84 hours for police officers and sergeants, which coincides with their 12-hour shifts. There's a change in the sick leave usage to hours versus days because of the 12-hour shifts. We are changing that from 5 days to 60 hours to coincide with the 12-hour shifts as well. The life insurance, this was a change that had happened in July. We increased what the city provides from 20,000 to 30,000. So this is just a housekeeping item that we needed to correct in the contract. The canine handler, there's a change in the compensation for home care. Currently at 7 hours per week at a reduced rate. We are moving to 3.5 hours a week at the individual's rate of pay. Then the wages portion of the agreement for the 3 years. The first year will be a 4% on July 1st, a 4% on January 1st, and then a 4% July 1st, 25, and another 4% July 1st, 26. There are also some additional increases. The sergeant's base pay will be increased to $1.75 for the first year and $1 the last year of the contract. This is to expand the senior patrol step 5 and the sergeant step 1 had gotten very close together. So in order to incentivize people to step into that leadership role, we needed to grow that apart a little bit. So that's behind that one. This is a new item that we're adding, the investigator. This is the officer designated by the chief as the investigator will receive 75 cents an hour in addition to their applicable base wage. So that's the agreement before you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? Call for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item C is a resolution authorising the mayor to execute and release of temporary construction easement previously recorded at instrument number 023807 located on lot 9 of the Gawley Minor subdivision. Just a bit of house cleaning.
Bit of house cleaning. So this temporary construction easement was granted in 2002 in connection with the development of Virginia Parkway, also known as Gawley's Minor subdivision. It's no longer needed as the maintenance and the construction has been completed. We will incur the recording fees for the release of this easement, but we're just asking that you authorize the mayor to execute the release of the temporary easement previously recorded.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Item D is a resolution authorising the Community Development Director to seek bids for demolition of an unsafe property acquired and authorising interim city manager to sign and execute an agreement with the lowest responsible bidder in the amount not to exceed 25,000.
So this is just the property that was acquired by the city back on November 20th of 2023 that the council accepted and approved. City staff has viewed this property and deemed it unsafe. Both our We've had two previous building inspectors who both deemed it unsafe. Asbestos sampling was completed February this year by Alliance Environmental Services. 13 of the 37 asbestos samples tested positive for asbestos. That was anywhere from linoleum flooring to the roof of the house testing positive. This property was ruled by the courts as abandoned. The amount budgeted for unsafe buildings in the 2024 fiscal year was $30,000, which there is a remaining balance of $27,447.98 left. City staff is just recommending city council adopt a resolution authorizing the community development director to seek bids for the demolition at 614 First Street, and also authorizing the interim city manager to execute and sign an agreement with the lowest responsible bidder not to exceed $25,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Erin.
Thank you, guys.
Item E is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a letter of agreement between Cornbelt Power Cooperative and the city of Webster City, Iowa, and North Iowa Municipal Electric Cooperative Association.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have a guest presenter, Greg Fritz from NYMECA, who was involved in negotiations between Cornbelt City and NYMECA, as well as Mr. Cheezick on behalf of the city. Also present is Adam Dickinson, the city's electric lead, and so he's also able to answer any questions. Greg's been asked to go through the details of the agreement. Adam can answer any technical questions about the construction on our side. Dodie and I are also present to discuss after their presentation with you some of the aspects related to the financing of the agreement that you should hear. And Mr. Cheezick can discuss any of the legal aspects if there's any questions. So with that, I'd turn it over to Greg, and then I can walk you through the finances.
Good evening. As you're aware, you're looking at contemplating or moving forward with numerous electric system improvements, which includes the new substation, distribution facilities, so on. With the new substation, you need to have relocated or rebuild of some transmission facilities as well. Under your power supply agreement with Cornbelt, however, transmission related items are their responsibility, whether it be operations and maintenance costs or capital improvement costs. That's their responsibilities. So as you're moving forward on this, though, it makes sense that Webster City wants to continue to own those facilities for the future, as well as with all of your other projects. When you have a substation, not only is it the transmission line coming in, but you have the distribution line going out, and having all of that coordinated in one spot. Hire DGR to do that as your engineer, rather than have multiple companies in there, Cornbelt, DGR, whoever your contractors are, just keep it all together. So last fall, we started having some discussions with meetings with DGR to talk about that, and then had some discussions with Cornbelt about how to move forward with that, who should be responsible, how that should be managed. With Daniel leaving, that kind of ground to a halt a little bit. Steve Nadel, who is NYMECA's attorney with Allers Law. Daniel had talked to him about helping with some negotiations. So Steve and I thought this was important, that this keep moving forward and not be hanging out there, because you guys have been actually spending some money or authorizing some expenditures related to this project without any assurance on how this is all going to interact with Cornbelt. So Steve and I had reached out to Zach and Adam, and they agreed that it was important to keep moving forward. So we kept doing some negotiations to outline how this is going to be handled. So obviously any distribution system improvements, that's your system to deliver power to your community. That's all your cost. The agreement covers, though, the various costs related to transmission, how those costs will be handled, how they'll be covered, what part's covered by Cornbelt, what part's going to be covered by Webster City. DGR with their engineering design went through each item, and depending on what it is, there is a breakdown in that agreement percentage wise, like, on the substation, part of that is transmission, part of that is distribution related. So it covers those breakdowns. The letter agreement we think is important because you're already moving forward. The next item on your agenda is approving some breakers that are related to this. And this agreement guarantees or outlines how you'll be reimbursed for those types of expenditures as you make them going forward. Another issue is, if you're not aware, Ken Kuiper, I think he's met with you in the past. He's retiring in the next couple of months. So with Kevin Bornhoff, Vice President of Transmission at Corn Belt, he's retiring at the end of March. And Karen Birdie, the CFO at Corn Belt, is retiring sometime, I think, in the next 3 to 4 months, depending on when they get a replacement hired. So all the people that are kind of familiar with the agreement at Corn Belt are also leaving, and there's going to be new people. So we thought it would be good to try and get this done while all these people that are familiar with the Webster City agreement are in place. The memo that you have in your packet outlines estimated costs. I would stress those are estimated because, of course, you haven't let bids for everything, so these numbers may change. But you know, basically, you're looking on the substation, a cost of a little over $7 million. Corn Belt will reimburse you based on those estimates about 2.85 million of that. And then on the 69 kV transmission line, you're looking at costs of 5.75 million roughly. And Corn Belt's going to pay the majority of that, about a little over 5.6 million. So this agreement covers those costs. You know, if the actual bids come in higher, the numbers will adjust accordingly, or lower. We can all be hopeful. If they come in lower, the numbers will adjust accordingly. I'll open it up. I don't know if you have any specific questions about anything or.
Not necessarily on the agreement itself, but I know the city manager is going to go through some financial impact and kind of how this looks, but. No, that is interesting that the leadership of Corn Belt is retiring, so it would be good. For them maybe to come meet us. You know, we've had some relationships with different members of Corn Belt over the last, decade or so, and it's important we keep that communication up. So I not putting that on you, of course, being NIMECA, but I would encourage Corn Belt to come, do an introduction of new leadership as they come in.
And I'm happy to pass that, make that suggestion. I'm sure Jake, the current vice president of generation at Corn Belt, was promoted to assistant general manager, and he will become general manager when Ken retires. So I'll pass that on to him and encourage him to do.
Well, they're always welcome, so.
Yep.
There are no further questions for Greg. I can talk about the finances, and then Greg's not leaving, so if you've got any more.
Thank you.
Dodie, would you just mind coming to the table or podium? And if some, Ariel, can you hand this to Dodie? So she's got a copy of it. Just to go over a few aspects of the finances. One, I want to emphasize the agreement is a fine partnership between the rural electric co-op and the city. Those types of partnerships, especially for a municipal electric utility, are important, and I think emphasizes goodwill between the two groups. Again, want to thank Zach and Greg for their leadership during that negotiation. The Reisner substation, as Greg mentioned, will cost approximately $7.1 million. Their numbers are a little different in the memo than what this reflects, but it's within the striking distance for the project. We have 4.3 coming from the city, and approximately 2.8 coming from Corn Belt. These are highlighted numbers on the sheet that was handed out. Originally, the city had contemplated funding the AMI meters with cash for this year. Given the size of the projects going forward in the CIP, I believe it's both Dodie and my recommendations that we would not proceed with cash funding the AMI meters. We will be bringing a recommendation this year to borrow approximately $2 million for the electric portion of those AMI meters. That project is underway and going well, or going as well as changing every meter in the community could be expected. So, but it's going well. Thank you. Because of the Reisner upgrade, and in discussion with the engineers at DGR in 25 and 26 to have Reisner work, you will have to expend another $1.3 million for what I'm going to describe roughly as the ability of Reisner to connect with the other substations. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Adam? Is that good description? Okay, good. So that was a project that the city had heard about in the capital improvement plan that was presented last fall by DGR, but had not been incorporated yet into the budget documents because they were still being prepared. So that was in addition to the 5-year CIP. In addition to that, you have a undergrounding project that's listed in 24-25 URD East of approximately $1.9 million, for which the city has expended some capital dollars for equipment related to the project. So to preserve your cash going forward and to continue to recommend for the forecast the 1% annual increase in rates, this is the financing plan that Doty and I have put together. As you can see, there are other smaller capital projects in the forecast that would be funded with cash. But as part of approving the Reisner agreement or the three-way agreement between Corn Belt, the city, and NYMECA, Doty and I wanted to also make the council aware that to finance the city's portion of the agreement, you will be needed to finance other capital improvements. One is the 2 million for the AMI. The other is the 1.3 million that will be necessary to hook Reisner up. The good news for the community and the city and the business users in the city is that substation is in need of update. It was going to be updated at some point in time, and you now have a substantial partnership with your rural electric co-op. In addition, our financial forecast continues to emphasize that we would be able to live within the 1% rate increases that have been scheduled. Now, off to the side, which Doty and I are still working with under the comments section, there are a few items that were included in the CIP prior to our beginning that we have not fit into the CIP yet. And that's the $3.8 million plan for the Bowman sub, $375,000 for the Sweezy sub, $100K for the Pass Waters decommission, which will likely need to be completed, but that should be able to be handled. And then the Sweezy sub single phase tie line for $135. Bulk of those projects were planned for this year, for next year, and we'll be needing to work with the budget to get those in. That being said, in the document I'm going to hand out now, you will see in 24 and 25, we do have 200. We are estimating to end the year with $286,000 above expenditures, and this year with approximately $500,000. So those smaller projects that I listed should be able to be worked in and maintain the forecast with a good fund balance going forward over 50%. And with the rate increases that have been anticipated. You might also know that DGR is working on a rate study associated with the capital plan that they submitted earlier this year. We're still taking those recommendations under advisement. Some of that has to do with the demand charge for some businesses. That will all be deliberated by the council at length prior to our recommending its adoption. But as I mentioned, this year's recommendation for the electric utility will be the 1% standard increase, which is well below inflation.
So when you just said we'd be able to still bring in those planned projects, the decommissioning, the upgrades to the couple, substations, and point out the second handout you just sent out, we would still be within that 50%.
Yep.
Fund balance, and you said there's a $200,000.
Yep.
What line is that?
I did go through that rather quickly. I apologize. So if you go to the 23-24 column.
Yep.
And then go to the bottom of that revenue minus expenditure, there's a number that says 543,000.
Yep.
Now recognize that will, we have estimated the power transmission costs and what our sales will be. So I want to warrant that there may be some delta in there, but that's what our estimate is. And really, that number was significantly lower. But it is come back up because we're recommending borrowing for the AMI projects. That's in the next year, then the next column, you have 286,000 coming forward. So between those two numbers, right? And I just hadn't done I think we've got Sweezy sub upgrades planned for 24, 25, pass waters, and perhaps the Sweezy single phase that we can handle with cash transfers to the equipment improvement fund. Might be a little tight. As you can see in the out years, those numbers narrow. And so we'll have to be talking about what expenditures we manage in the future. But in addition, I think for the Webster City Electric Utility, what this forecast allows is a stable fund balance moving forward at 50%. Plus, at least in the first 4 years, going a little below, but well over 7 million in the fund. I would note that the city has reserved an additional 1.25 million for economic development purposes. That's not part of this 7.1 million. So from an audit and industry standard, you're sitting well financially.
And this would also be moving forward with the current proposed projects for 24, 25, like the conversion to the east side of town and stuff like that, and underground, sorry. I know because you highlighted some things down here, like this is including everything, nothing's getting pulled necessarily, we're just, or instead of using cash for the meters, we're financing it or bonding for it, or
Correct. And I would point out to the community, you might worry about borrowing. The meters do have 15-year warranty. That is the length of the term that we are recommending the bond be let for. Certainly financing those improvements instead of forcing the utility to make that expenditure in cash right now is beneficial to them. And then the undergrounding is proposed to proceed based on what you had scheduled for 24, 25. And that is in the forecast at this point in time. Certainly you may have opinions on the capital projects that are necessary at this time. We were working with what you had considered in the past and trying to fit into the forecast at as minimal of impact to the ratepayers as possible.
No, yeah, that's great. What I was kind of asking those questions for is to ensure this is laying out everything we already had planned. We're just kind of moving some numbers around and looking at some loan options to manage it and all fit it all in. So I didn't want to like take all what you just said there and be like, oh wait, we dropped what? So I just want to make sure we didn't catch something. So
the one big piece that we have not put into the financial forecast, I think it had originally been planned for 25, 26, is the Bowman sub upgrades. In conversations with Mr. Dickinson, we believe that we can manage that into the out years. That project will apply pressure to the rates structure if and when it is pursued in the 5-year forecast. But according to my discussions with him, there's room to plan that out into the future.
This is totally a logistical question maybe, but or maybe off base here, but we capture future potential revenue based off historic and trending the kilowatt hour usage and what we're going to pull in for this revenue. Do we bake into that cake the more accurate smart meters we're installing to capture more kilowatt hours? I mean, is that kind of, I mean, obviously it's an estimate what we forecast for that revenue. Is that basically what I'm getting at, is that a conservative estimate?
I believe our estimates are just based on a 1% increase on the number year to year. So it is a conservative estimate.
Yeah, a little early to know, but I believe we're going to see in the water and electrical.
Yeah. So the beauty of those smart meters, I think it serves both sides of that consumer and that utility holder's interest. Is the consumer. I'm prefacing what I'm saying here. I'm saying this because I don't want you to think we're going to try to make more money off electric. That's why we're going smart meters. It gives the consumer a little more power to understand their bill, but it gives us the power to be more accurate with that capture. So again, I'm just curious that forecast and what that looks like with the smart meters. So that you answered it correctly. What I was hoping for, I should say, is it's a conservative estimate. So
And you will be seeing this forecast again when we do our budget work sessions. If there's any revisions, we'll bring those to your attention.
One question I do have on the phase one improvement for the Reisner substation, that 1.3 million. Obviously, that's something we have to do. I believe you described it as kind of connecting it to the other substations. Is that something that has to be done before the Reisner substation is usable, or is it like a redundancy thing?
It has to be done
Before, okay,
Before.
okay,
before the Pat Water station is decommissioned.
I got you. So it's necessary. It's not something we can
Yeah.
push out, okay?
Is it necessary for us to go ahead with that project to move the line? You know, the next project we've got
The one that's slated for next.
You want
for the next month, yeah. Is it necessary to do that?
Can you come to the podium?
I know that if everything goes forward the way we've already planned it, then yes, we have to move it.
Right,
But if it doesn't, then it
and no, it would not have to be.
okay.
The $300,000 project but that is necessary to, it's my understanding, unless you're the expert here. So I just thought it was necessary to connect temporarily pass waters to Reisner, to turn Reisner on.
Correct. Yeah. That part, that's true.
So you're talking the relocation of the line to get the water lines out to a potential wastewater treatment site.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I got you.
That all came into it.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. So if one gets stalled, then do we stall the other one? I guess but we don't know. We're too early for one to know about the other.
Well, it's my understanding that, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Dickinson. The relocation line of the $300,000 has to do with some poles and lines that were in the way of the
Wastewater.
yes, but those poles and lines are actually going to be reused, poles, not lines, to create the temporary connection between pass waters and Reisner. That is necessary to put Reisner on.
Yes.
So would we use the same piece is what you're saying?
Use the same.
If you're routing it to route it around the way for the new wastewater plant, are we going to use that same piece then to run over to the new
Yes.
Sweezy?
Yes.
So we would use that same system?
Yep.
Okay. So then we might as well not stop it.
Correct. It all just, yeah, it does.
We're gonna use it anyway, so we can usually do it. Okay, good enough. That makes sense. Just clear as mud.
Where is the pass water substation? Which one is,
On the north side of Highway 20, off of Edgewood.
It's not the Sweezy substation, it's the past.
Sweezy substation's at the line of park.
The Sweezy station's a new.
okay, but the one I'm sorry, I know what the one we're looking at redoing. What is the one we're trying to temporarily tie it to?
The Sweezy will be the
Sweezy,
new one.
okay, where's the Sweezy one at the
That's,
plant?
The Sweezy substation is at the line of park.
I got you, okay.
Yeah. The Reisner substation will be out in the industrial
Yeah,
park.
the right.
And then pass water sub that will be decommissioned is just on the north side of Highway 20 by the water.
And where's, just so, again, just putting it, is the Bowman substation the one up on the west side of town? Okay.
Yep, yep.
Can't we just put like west or?
That's true.
we'd have two souths. We wouldn't know what to do. We'd have two souths. New and old, I guess. We got two jobs.
Yeah,
That's more confusing.
Yeah, that's right. Staff is happy to answer any remaining questions you might have on the agreement. We do recommend approval, and that would need to be passed by the council.
Okay, so call for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, now we go spend some money. So we're just setting a public hearing. So, item. No. For this one. That's for the one we just did, you mean?
No,
No, this is the next one. Okay. This was already set, so I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
You want to read what the public hearings for?
Oh, yeah, okay. A public hearing on proposed plan specification, proposed form of contract, estimate of costs for the purchase of 69 kV circuit breakers needed for the Rising substation.
And there were no written objections.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections. please.
Never really is. Okay, I'll close the hearing. So over to you, Adam. You didn't get us a deal.
We sent out to 3 different vendors and unfortunately we only received 1 bid back last week. We opened up last Thursday.
Yeah.
But Siemens was the one and only quote received. Total of that was what, 273,034.02 cents plus the tax. And the lead times on that were 70 to 75 weeks. And another reason why we had to do this ahead of what was anticipated.
Do you feel the lack of other bids were due to the availability of the product, or do you think it's?
And we had responses from 2 of the others. One of them was lack of manpower, and believe it or not, still with something like this, manpower was one of the reasons why they could not.
They could size a couple breakers and, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying these things are small breakers, but I mean, still, it's.
and the other company that sent back comments stating that they're just overwhelmed right now, and I'm assuming that that's partly in manpower due and.
But we're overwhelmed that many months ahead though. I mean, we're not even overwhelmed for this week. I mean, we're overwhelmed for the next year.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, we're recommending that we take the quote from Siemens Engineering with the Dakota Supply Group for the 369 kVA breakers. I guess I should have stated too that Corn Belt will be purchasing 2 of these, but we, with our agreement, we're paying for them upfront and then they'll reimburse.
Other questions for?
Any other questions?
Made it to the
Something really hard for him? No?
We don't want to do that.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
So resolution approving and confirming. Resolution approving and confirming plan specifications for proposed form of contract and estimate of costs for the purchase of a 369 kV circuit breakers needed for the Ryder substation and authorizing the execution of the purchase order and contract for the purchase of 369 kV circuit breakers from Dakota Supply Group, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, in the amount of $292,146.40, which includes the tax.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And that's about it. So we'll meet in closed session to discuss the purchase of for sale of particular real estate only where premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the price a government body would have to pay for that property or reduce the price a government body would have to receive for that property as in provided by chapter 21.5J, the Code of Iowa.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.